This is an invitation to join Luxbet Club Extra, exclusively to owners and trainers. Join Luxbet today using promo code and receive a match deposit of 150% up to $1,500. Luxbetter odds, Luxbetter up with Luxbet.
Well, this week on Stable Boss, we have a real treat in Sheila Laxton. And of course, Sheila, you won the Melbourne Cup in 2001 with Ethereal, and we were lucky enough to see her in Brisbane first. Before we get to the Melbourne Cup, I'm curious, at what stage did you think, I've got a really nice horse on my hands?
Well, I broke her in, and, and I just loved her from day one. She was so intelligent and so, oh yeah, I've been here before, and she just had something about her. I didn't really know that she was a good galloper until I had my first gallop on her, and I thought, crikey, you know, she's really got the goods. And yet she took 7 starts and couldn't win a maiden race.
Wow.
Next 14 she wins 5 million and 4 Group 1 races.
That is extraordinary. Yeah. So when you brought her over here for the Oaks, what sort of confidence levels did you have at that stage?
Well, when I came over for the Grand Prix because we needed to qualify because the prize money in New Zealand is not good enough to get starts over in Australia. Mm-hmm. So we had her in the Grand Prix and the plane broke down, so we couldn't get here. Oh. So then the only qualifying race was the Doomben Roses, which was a week before the Oaks. And she was a horse that was a bit offset and she didn't back up. And anyway, we just went for the Roses. Scott Seamer jumped on board for the first time and she won that and she pulled up perfectly. So we went to the Oaks and the rest is history.
The rest is history. So she had a short break, or did she go straight to Melbourne and keep No,
she actually spelled up in Queensland. We thought that'd be a good idea. And I came back to fly her back to New Zealand about August time, but she was still a bit light, so we left her out longer than we intended. So we were always chasing the 8-ball to catch up to get her ready for the Melbourne Cup. But she got there, and maybe it was a blessing in disguise how that all evolved.
Yeah, she's wintered beautifully in Brisbane. Yeah, so you get to Melbourne. You've planned out your little attack to get to the Melbourne Cup. You win the Caulfield Cup.
Yes, and I must admit, by the time I got to the Melbourne Cup, she was only half fit for the Caulfield Cup. It was a huge effort on her part.
Is that right?
Yeah, she was, you know, well, she didn't do particularly well when I first arrived at Maston Lodge, so I didn't do that much work with her and pussyfooted all the way to the Caulfield Cup. Then she settled in, and I could really give her a lot more work after that. So
she got into the swing of things.
Yeah, she got into the swing of things, enjoyed it. It was freezing there.
Just like home.
Oh, yes.
So Melbourne Cup week arrives. What was the lead up like for you?
Oh, look, it was pretty full on. You know, there was a lot of interviews to do and all that sort of thing. But, you know, really I just concentrated on her and just, I used to ride her for, you know, in the morning and the afternoon and just do the sort of conditioning work they do in England. I didn't gallop her much. She raced in the Caulfield Cup and didn't race again until the Melbourne Cup, which was unheard of in those days. And people said, oh, you've got to go for the McKinnon. And I just felt she, you know, being the sort of horse she was probably do the mileage and be okay. I hoped.
Yeah, exactly. But what an association, because you knew her like inside out and she knew you inside out. So amazing sort of trustworthiness between you.
Yes, and even when, you know, I think in the whole of the time I was riding her, I only ever galloped her properly twice.
Wow.
You know, I just used to ride her and just say push the button and go, and she'd sprint and that was it. You know, I'd never actually gallop her a lot.
You let her tell you?
Yes, yeah, I just said, right, go, there's a line, you know, and get her to understand that when she's got to go, she's got to go. And 3 of her wins, she won by that much. Wow. She was just so onto where she...
Because she knew just to go now.
Yeah, go now, go now.
So, Cup day arrives. Are you nervous? Are you excited? How are you feeling?
Look, I was pretty excited, because originally we weren't going for the Melbourne Cup, we were going to go for the Hong Kong Cup. And when the owners told me that, I thought, oh.
Yeah.
So I had to work a few strategies and managed to sway it in her direction. So we stayed for the Melbourne Cup, which is fantastic. And now, you know, Peter Vella says, I didn't realise what an accomplishment it would be to win the Melbourne Cup, and thank goodness.
It was nearly a horrendous miss.
Yes, that's right. And on the morning it rained, and they were discussing scratching her as well, because she'd never actually been on a wet track. And I'd worked her in the morning at Macedon. It was a lovely sunny day, and you know, full of, well, see what happens. And it rains all the way down there, and I'm thinking, oh, I don't know about going 2 miles on a wet track with her. So I sort of went into the race a little bit not expecting much. And, and Scott had walked the track 5 times. That's how determined a jockey was to make it happen. And of course, when it rained, he walked it again in the morning, and he decided 3 wide was the firmest bit of the track, and that's where he was going to be. So we're going over 2 miles for the first time, and then we're going to be 3 wide as well.
You're having kittens.
I thought, oh, but you know, all credit to him, you know. And when you give the slip disappear up the rail, and he still waits and waits and waits and pushes the button.
Goes to that spot.
Goes to that. Well, he was in that spot, but he just waited for so long. You know,
because you had told him don't push the button.
Oh, well. But the other one was going so fast, and where I was sitting, you know, I thought she had him well covered. But actually, when you watch the replay at the line, he only just gets there in time. I mean, she wins conclusively.
Exactly.
Compared to the other three like that.
Exactly.
But it was a tremendous ride.
An amazing effort. Now we all think of you as the first woman to win the Melbourne Cup, but technically, I mean, officially you are, but technically you're not.
No, exactly. There was a lady called Granny MacDonald who actually got the first female trainer's licence in New Zealand back in the 30s. And she had a horse called Catalogue, which she nominated for the Melbourne Cup, and the Melbourne Cup officials said,
The boys' club,
we don't have women trainers.
Oh,
if you don't
tough.
mind. So she had to put it in her husband's name to win the cup.
Is that right?
And he won it. So officially I am, but
unofficially you're the second.
Granny MacDonald won it in 1938.
What an extraordinary story. So with 10 internationals in it this year, and of course Jamaica, if you were to have a pick, are you feeling loyalties towards Jamaica, or do you have something else?
Ah, look, I haven't really studied the field that much, but obviously I wanted to be a homegrown cup winner. It's very hard for the overseas horses to come over and win, and they do a very good job being competitive, but you know, they all so much want to win the Melbourne Cup, so it's great if we can keep it in Australasia.
It is. Well, it's been a real treat to have you on Stable Boss. I'm sure everybody at home will love it, and it's even a bigger treat to have you training here in Queensland. So
I love it.
Great to be part of the team.
Thank you.
There's Sheila.
This is an invitation to join Luxbet Club Extra, exclusively to owners and trainers. Join Luxbet today using promo code and receive a match deposit of 150% up to $1,500. Luxbet odds, Luxbet up with Luxbet.